caller. Good evening to you.
Oh, good evening, Nigel. How are you?
I'm
Hope you're
all
not
right.
affected by this terrible beast from the east.
No, I've been very, very lucky. I mean, as I said, I've had two family members, close family members, who have had it. So, I'm aware of how horrid it is, James, and done my best to avoid it. And I was one of the early ones, James, saying we should lock down and buy ourselves some time. But I think we need to be given a bit of a roadmap, a bit of a light at the end of a tunnel, James. That's my feeling.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I think you're right about I think a lot of people would do with garden centres, once their crop's gone, let's put it that way, it's gone. It doesn't last. It's not something you can hide away in a warehouse and we'll sell that a little bit later on. You can't do that with garden centres.
Well, unless they open, James, a lot of this stuff, unless they open soon, a lot of these plants are just going to get dumped, aren't they?
Exactly. It's just going to get dumped and they're going to lose millions at it. So, the thing is, just take a bit of a sensible view on something like that and say, well, we can have social distances. They will act responsibly. I'm sure they would anyway. Otherwise, there's a case of people will be complaining and say, look, they're just running riot. They're not allowing these people to act in a responsible manner.
Do you think, James, where you live,
yeah.
do you think, I get conflicting reports. I get some people saying everyone's behaving. I get some people saying their local supermarket people aren't behaving. What's your impression of how we've managed over the last month?
Well, to be quite honest, the shopping has been done by our children because we have really self-isolated.
Right.
So I couldn't really tell you what's happening. I've seen the lines queuing up outside the supermarket. It seems to be done in a responsible manner. People seem to be dissing themselves from one another, but what's actually happening inside the stores, I couldn't give a report on that. I've heard it's a little bit of a free-for-all, but I couldn't say that for all the stores, whether that was just a case of...
Well, I guess it's some and some. James, would you like to see an easing of this lockdown over the next couple of weeks?
I think we've got to be a bit more responsible than that. I'd love to see it keying off, but it's like everything. I think Boris is back in the chair now. That's good. So he will be listening, like all of us, like all of the people that's been in there before. They will be listening to the medical advice. And I think they've obviously done that in the past. And that's the way we've reached our situation we're at the moment. The one thing that's really got up my nose, and I've seen it going on at ferry ports, I've seen it going on trains, and I've seen it done at Heathrow, all the airports have got people coming in from God knows where, all points east, let's put it that way, heavily infected areas, and there's no checks on them.
I know.
And that's for that lot that's streaming across the channel.
I know, James, it drives me mad. It drives me mad, and we're doing nothing about it.
I don't believe it. I thought it was... I had to check the date when I saw a piece in the Mail the other day, and I thought it was April the 1st.
I know.
And they were picking these. I feel sorry for them. These poor devils up. But we cannot take on the misery of the world.
We're now, Jane, effectively, the Border Force is now effectively a taxi service. That you leave Calais or somewhere on the north coast of France, you leave the coast, you get a few miles, and we then ferry you in. It's crazy. James, thank you very much indeed for...
We will make America great again.